Oh! Ah! Oh, bad.
Today we're tasting 17 different Australian native foods, and I bet you've never even heard of half of them. And on top of that, we make an amazing taste-altering discovery.
This is really fascinating. Like, that is such a cool thing. And you're saying that no one has, like, that you know of knows this? This is really cool.
Over the years, I've filmed many episodes of cooking from very, very old cookbooks, including this one from 1750, which is one of my favourites. Looking at the recipes in here gives us a glimpse as to what life was like back then. But it has struck me that at the same time as this book was printed, more than 270 years ago, life in Australia and food in Australia was very, very different. For example, this book has a recipe for apple pie, which, as you would expect, uses wheat flour and butter in the pastry and is filled with apples. But in Australia, there was no wheat, so no wheat flour, and there were no cows, so therefore no butter, and there weren't even any apple trees. In fact, most of the staples that are in this book did not exist in Australia back then. There were no potatoes, carrots, turnips or cabbages. There was no oats, no barley, no pigs, chickens, sheep, goats, cows. No goats or cows means there's no milk, no cream, no yogurt, no dairy at all. And on top of that, there were no horses, so if you wanted to go anywhere you had to walk, and no oxen, so you couldn't pull a plough to do farming. So pretty much everything in this book was totally useless and irrelevant in Australia at that time. But Indigenous people lived here and they not only survived, they thrived. So that led me to the next question, what did they eat? So if you come for a hike with me in the national park, it's pretty hot and dry and there's not a lot that looks edible. I found this pretty flower, but it's not a native. There are these thistles and they're not native. And then I found this flower, but that's not native either. There are lots of plants like this that have been introduced and are not native to Australia. I did of course find plenty of natives too. Eat this one and you'll get irreversible liver damage. This pretty little one causes vomiting and is fatal in high doses. And this fern contains carcinogens. This climbing plant does at least have edible tubers, but be careful because the sap in the stems and the leaves will cause burns and blistering on your skin. The only animal I saw on my hike was this echidna. Echidnas are now protected in Australia, so nobody is going to be eating them. I just think they are the cutest. I love how they curl up into a ball and hide their little face when they're frightened. But if you sit very still, then they will continue on their way once they feel safe. Look at this beautiful native orchid. This one does actually have edible tubers, but we can't try eating this one because picking wildflowers in a national park is illegal and carries a $2,000 fine. So if we want to try any Australian natives, I'm going to have to buy the plants and plant them and let them grow. And after some time of waiting for things to grow, I finally have a harvest. It's definitely not enough to feed my family. So I'm going to have to buy some foods that someone else grew. That's better. Now, most of these I've had to buy frozen, so we'll just let them defrost so we can try them. And nearly all of them didn't come from here in Victoria. They are grown in various parts of Australia. Not everything is available in the same state. And I've also purchased some meats. So let's start with them and try some kangaroo. Kangaroo is a very lean meat. It's only about 3% fat.
Delicious. I've had kangaroo many times before.
Delicious. Quite gamey, quite chewy, but it's a nice flavour.
If you've never eaten kangaroo, you really should try and get it. It's a gamey meat, but it is delicious. I guess they're just hard to farm because they jump over the fences.
Moving on to emu. Did you know emus can run at 50 kilometres an hour? And they have even less fat than kangaroos do.
It's kind of just tastes like a low quality piece of steak.
It's got like some slight chicken or turkey even that comes through, but very, very similar to the kangaroo overall. Tastes like meat.
It's quite delicious, actually.
Next we have crocodile. They would be very happy to make a meal of you if you venture into their waters.
Never seen crocodile on a menu or eaten crocodile before. It is much firmer than I thought it would be.
Well, that is chewy. It definitely doesn't melt in your mouth. It requires a lot of chomping.
Quite yummy. I'd definitely eat again.
The taste is nice.
It's like really chewy chicken almost.
Doesn't quite taste like chicken, maybe a little bit more like pork. Now I can form these leftovers to create a crocodile. Crocodile. That's what it is. A kanga crocodile.
Would you eat this next one?
Ooh, are they ants?
Yes, they are. They're green ants.
Ew.
Not what I expected an ant to taste like at all.
They're almost like a sour lolly.
They're like surprisingly citrusy.
It's pretty good.
They're yummy.
So the meats seem pretty good. So let's move on to fruit, starting with my favourite, the finger lime. I planted this one a few years ago, and if you look closely you'll see huge thorns next to every leaf. So I normally wear an oven glove when I pick them to avoid getting spiked. Now if I cut this in half you might think it's just a weird elongated lime, but if I squeeze it you'll see all the juice vesicles are separate.
So this one is the finger lime that we grew in our backyard, and it tastes like lime.
It does taste of lime, but it's a bit different. It's not like a straight lime. It tastes a bit more like lime zest than like actual lime juice.
Very limey. The best part about it is the interesting texture of all the little balls in there. It's like a caviar, a citrus caviar.
You can also get different varieties of finger limes. Because this particular one has been frozen and defrosted, it doesn't look quite as fresh and crisp as the one off the tree.
All right, let's give the red one a try now. Ooh. Oh.
Ugh. This one's not very nice.
I'm surprised by how different the flavours are between them.
Still very citrusy, but more grapefruit.
It's full on, it's strong.
But I do love grapefruit. And our pink one now.
It's got big seeds, this one.
It's so sour.
A bit like a lemon, but not as full on as a lemon.
That was good. That was more lemony.
Yes, lemon sour, that one. All tasty though. Very good for, probably not by themselves, but very good for serving on something, having in a drink on something. It's very tasty.
Next we have apple berries. This has berries on it that are quite hard when they're unripe, and then when they're ripe they fall to the ground and look transparent like this. I only have one ripe, so not everyone can taste this one.
Appleberry is possibly the coolest named thing that we're eating today. Sounds like a cartoon character. Thomas Appleberry.
Soft. It's got almost no texture at all.
Like a soggy sort of peach. With seeds in it. It's unusual.
A very, very faint hint of like the apple peel.
Not a strong flavour.
Tastes like a crayon.
Moving on to lemon aspen. Now, just a reminder, all these ones have been defrosted. That's why it looks so juicy. And inside looks a bit like a mini apple.
Oh! 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 Ah! Oh boy, that's bad. That is a unique flavour.
Oh, I can't put my finger on it.
It's texturally really bad. It's got some sort of crunchy bit in the middle that makes me feel like I've got a bone.
A super strong lemon flavour, but then it's also really bitter. Ugh. intense, like off lemon almost. It's no good. Not good at all.
I'm also going to candy some of these and make a drink out of it too. Now, when you stew apples, they soften and break apart, but these have been stewing for a while and it just stays firm. Would you like to try it with some sugar?
Yes, please. A lot of sugar.
Sugared one is nice. It's a unique flavour, which I like. Like, it's not just something else. But I can't quite put my finger on what it tastes like. But I've smelled it before. It's like a candle or a cleaning product, something like that. But like very lemon forward.
Yeah, there's some other flavour in there. I can't pick up what it is, but I like it. It's really good.
It tastes like almost chemical. With the candy, it's sugary, but it's still pretty gross.
Beautiful.
Let's try it as a drink now. I do not have high hopes, but we'll give it a go.
Yeah, drink is nice.
It's really good. Like, it's really refreshing.
It's bad lemonade.
In the books, it's described as lemon with a hint of camphor, which is mothballs.
Excellent. Maybe it is. Hang on. Maybe. Now you mention it, I can definitely get the fragrance of mothballs. But honestly, what is camphor? It must be a naturally occurring thing, is it? Anyone? So this is excellent. This will give you a little sugary treat and keep the moths away.
This is a kakadu plum. If I try and cut this in half, you can see it has a pretty decent sized pip in the middle, but it's actually really hard to separate the flesh from the pip. I think you just have to eat it to get it off. But to give you an idea of the size, this is what the pip looks like.
It's okay, it's quite bitter. It's almost like an olive.
It's not nice to chew. There's so much skin in there and the big pip in the middle that it's tricky to eat.
Quite sour and super chewy, but I do think that there is a bit of plum flavour in there.
Flavour is not exceptional, but it's also like not bad at all.
Orange?
One kakadu plum has the same amount of vitamin C as that orange.
Wow. That's good.
It's the most concentrated vitamin C in any fruit in the world.
Okay. That's quite interesting. So if you are going on long sea voyages, pack your kakadu plums. Don't get any scurvy.
Next we have quandong, which again has a big seed in the centre, so although they look big, there's not much fruit in them.
Oh, I don't like that. It's almost salty.
A little bit sour. I don't even know what flavour I got there, but it wasn't nice.
It's definitely got that sort of stone fruit flavour, maybe almost like a apricot, but like an intense, full-on, punch-in-the-face apricot.
Not that bad.
I also stewed some with a little sugar, and they also keep their shape when they're stewed and their bright red colour.
And it's chewy.
That's actually really nice stewed with the sugar.
It's quite nice, actually.
That'd be really nice in like a pie or a slice.
I like it. It's delicious.
This is a cute desert lime.
It's a tiny lime. It looks like a tiny lime, but I'm guessing I don't have to peel it.
And I assume they grow in the desert, which is, honestly, is an achievement itself. If you're going to grow in an Australian desert, you've done well.
It's so sour, but definitely has another flavour. It's not too bad. It's like a sour fig.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Don't love that one.
All right, let's try the candied ones.
They don't have a super strong flavour when they're candied.
These candied ones, very good, very yummy, but you lose some of the flavour of it. It's just sweet. But I like lollies, so you can't complain.
That is quite tasty. I can see, having the candied one on a charcuterie board, sort of where you'd have a honeyed fig or something along those lines.
Next we have Davidson plums. Now when I cut into this it looks like it has no pip in the centre, but in fact it has two flat pips in the middle.
I'm not a huge plum person, but this is obviously a native one, so I'll give it a go.
Ah! Oh! Ah! Oh, it's bad.
It's so sour. Probably the most sour thing yet. And I really can't taste any other flavours but sour.
Wow.
That was a slap in the face. Davidson.
That's like a fruit that is just pure apple cider vinegar. It's like balsamic mixed with apple cider. And that's all it tastes like. It's very vinegary.
It feels like it sucked all the moisture out of my mouth and...
It is really bad. I would not eat that ever.
I've turned it into a jam because it's naturally high in pectin, so it is set without me adding anything else. Do you want to try that on some bread?
Not really. Not super excited for this one.
Still really, really sour. Really bad.
It's such a wild flavour. Not too bad.
Yeah, delicious as a jam. Terrible as a fruit. Like, really bad. It's just like swirling around vinegar in your mouth. It was a lot.
Now for these tiny fruits called munchies.
They don't really taste of anything.
It's sort of as if someone's sucked all the flavour out of a blueberry.
Slightly sweet, slightly earthy, not a ton of flavour.
I'd eat them. Eat them by the handful.
Well, next to that you have a pie. Unfortunately, they lose that beautiful pinky reddy tones when you bake them and go that ugly brown colour.
Yeah. All right.
There's really not much flavour to that, but there's not. Yeah, after everything that I've eaten today, something with zero flavour is somewhere on the high end of good food.
That is a unique and delicious little native Australian treat. If I was stuck in the desert, I would definitely prefer to eat these than any of the other ones.
Moving on to nuts, starting with sandalwood nuts.
Very, very mild flavour. Almost nothing that I can pick up. They have like this slight, maybe woody flavour, but not much more.
Tastes like cardboard.
And now the famous Australian macadamia nuts.
That's one of my favourite nuts.
Yep, they're quite yummy. Mild flavour, but very pleasant.
You take one bite and they just explode into lots of tiny little pieces.
Next, we're going to try bunya nuts. These come from huge pine cones that grow on the very tall bunya pine trees. Now, interestingly, these trees don't have those pine cones on them until the tree is 100 years old. Inside the tough outer shell is the raw nut, which looks like this. It has much less fat than other nuts do. It's mainly starch.
That's very odd.
It's like a dried mushroom flavour.
It's like a banana.
Tastes a lot like celery.
It's quite woody with almost like a chalky texture.
Weirdly got some strange sweetness to it.
It almost melts in your mouth, really. Like it's powdery, it just dissolves.
It's not nice.
Roasting these bunya nuts makes it a lot easier to get them out of their shells, but I'm concerned that these might be overdone. I left it for 1 hour, which is what it said to do.
It's just like eating a piece of wood. It's like when you're a kid and you eat a piece of bark off a tree.
It tastes like a rock. And now I've just made it into like pebbles in my mouth.
Tastes like I'm eating a branch.
The baked one does not melt in your mouth. It requires a lot of chewing, but the flavour is nice. I really like the flavour of that baked one.
Apparently you can also grind these and then add water to make a paste and then bake it.
It's edible. You know, if you had to forage and that was the best you can do, I don't think you're doing too bad.
You've definitely fixed the texture issue, but I still don't love the flavour.
If the pine cone of bunya nuts drops, I am running the other direction. I'm not there.
Next is wattle seeds. Australia has nearly 1,000 different varieties of native wattle trees. Now, not all of them have been tested to see if they are safe to eat. But of the wattle seeds that have been tested, they all have varying amounts of something called trypsin inhibitors. In your gut, when you're digesting food, you have an enzyme called trypsin, and it's important for digesting protein. The trypsin inhibitors stop that enzyme from working properly, so it's disrupting your ability to digest protein, which is not a good thing. Now, roasting these seeds greatly reduces the amount of trypsin inhibitors that are in them, so it's important to roast them before you eat them. And you'll know they're ready when they start to pop, but don't get too excited. They don't pop like popcorn, they just make a popping sound and look the same afterwards.
That's not bad at all.
They're a bit bitter, but they're not too bad.
Bit of a burnt taste, but like crunchy and a little bit tasty.
Ooh, extra crunchy.
I don't know, they both taste a bit like coffee.
You got some like slight popcorn flavour to it.
Tastes like the hard bits of popcorn that are left behind.
Apparently, Indigenous Australians used to collect grass seeds and grind them with wattle seeds to make a seed damper. I've only got a tiny amount here, and they would of course cook it in the ashes, but we have a total fire ban, so I'll just bake it in the oven.
That's interesting.
It's not good.
It tastes like what you'd imagine.
It tastes a lot like grass.
Not actually too bad. It's surprisingly tasty, actually.
As an experiment, I thought I'd try heating some cream with some sugar and 1 teaspoon of ground roasted wattle seeds. Then once it came to the boil, I just turned that off and let the flavours infuse for about 20 minutes and then strained it and cooled the cream.
Yeah, yum. It's very coffee. That's delicious. Like, that's really good.
That's full-on coffee. That's amazing. That's actually delicious.
That is really nice. It's creamy and sugary, so it's obviously quite nice. But the wattle seed flavour through it is actually really tasty.
This is delicious. It's almost like tiramisu, like a bit of a coffee flavour.
You can buy wattle seeds that are already roasted and ground for you, which is what I used in the cream. If they've been done well, like this one, they taste lovely. But if they've been over roasted, they taste really bitter and burnt and not very nice. This one was done by the brand Indigi Earth, which says on the back that it's Aboriginal owned and operated, and that was the yummy one. Next, we need some veggies. This is a vanilla lily that I've been growing, and if we dig down under the ground, we'll find some edible tubers. They look pretty good. We obviously don't want to kill the plant, so I can't harvest them all. I'll just take a few and then replant it.
Vanilla lily, vanilla lily, vanilla lily. Say that 15 times. Press pause right now. Say it 15 times fast.
It's crispy, it's watery, slightly salty. It made me taste like a slightly salty radish.
It's very watery and almost has the texture of celery.
Beautiful. It's nice. I like that one.
Next we have Tasmanian pepperberries. Now these are quite spicy, but they're not spicy in the way that chili is. Chili contains capsaicin, and that hits your sensory receptors on your tongue that detect pain and heat, which is why it feels hot even though it's not actually hot. These ones are a little different. The substances that are in these pepperberries hit a different sensory receptor on your tongue, so it gives quite an unusual spicy feeling.
All right. Let's give it a try. I've been cautioned to have only one because it's spicy and that worries me. All right.
Woo! Wow!
Yes, definitely spicy.
Wow, that is super spicy. Whew. It's it's really intense.
It is a different spice.
It's not a sensation of heat. It's more a sensation of like irritation, like a tingling.
Wow, that is wild.
It almost makes my tongue like numb.
Yeah, like numbing my mouth. That is... feels like my face is about to fall off. It is like numbing everything.
After I had a couple of these pepper berries, I then went and had a coffee, and I did a double take because I don't have sugar in my coffee, and it was super sweet. There was no bitterness to the coffee at all. It was just really sweet. And the food scientist we started having a chat. She said she wonders if it's something to do with the pepper berries.
Let's do a taste test.
So, dark chocolate, which is usually pretty bitter, just doesn't really taste of that much. You can just pick up the chocolate flavour, really. It doesn't really taste of anything. It's not bitter at all.
Oh, there's just like no bitterness there at all. That's really fascinating. Like, that is such a cool thing.
Can you still taste salt?
Yeah, still taste salt. Yeah, tastes like sugar. Palmy umami. Pretty much the same. Just tastes like a sour orange, but there's none of that punch that you get from a lemon.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wow, that is quite a big difference. That's really cool. It hasn't made it taste sweet, but the bitterness is way less pronounced. Like, this tastes closer to an orange than it does a lemon.
And the lemon doesn't really taste as sour anymore. What? I've got to here's some vinegar. It's just sweet. Like, I can tell it's vinegar. I like the taste of vinegar. But that's got no acidity to it. It's very nice.
Yeah, wow, that's huge. That's a massive difference.
What? It's like sweet. Tabasco sauce. Hot sauce. Let's see. This has normally got a good kick. That's a good little bit. Straight. Wow. Nothing. It's not spicy. I can't taste any spice at all. That is so weird.
I searched and searched and could not find any studies that mentioned this taste-altering effect from pepper berries. In fact, the only mention I found of it at all was from a journal from Miss Bancroft back in 2018 when she and a group of botanists did a trip to Tasmania, and it says, "We learnt that the peppery taste of the leaf numbed the tongue slightly and everything thereafter had a strong sweet taste. This discovery came about with a dispute over whether sugar had been put in a cup of tea or not," which sounds very familiar. I did find this video on YouTube where Jared says it altered his taste after he had a pepperberry, but he had a completely different experience.
The next day, I make a cup of coffee, and I'm drinking the coffee. The coffee tastes salty. And I think it's the berry.
when I tried a pepperberry, it had the same effect for me as it had for James and Dave and Jed, which is it pretty much knocked out the bitter flavours and greatly reduced sour, but sweet, salty and umami stayed the same. I must say some things did taste sweeter once you take out the sour and the bitter, but they weren't actually sweeter. When I did a test with different levels of sugar water and at what level I could detect it, it was the same before and after having a pepperberry. So it's not actually sweeter, it's just that you've taken out those other flavours, so it seems sweeter. Even water seems sweeter, and the effect lasts for an hour or two after you've had a pepperberry. Now, I must say that Matthew had a different experience.
Tastes like vinegar.
Does it taste any different?
Maybe a little less intense.
Taste the chocolate?
Taste the chocolate. Was something meant to happen?
Does it taste like normal chocolate?
Yeah.
Really? Does it taste any different?
Yeah, it tastes like dark chocolate.
For everyone else, they couldn't taste the bitter anymore.
Really?
And they couldn't taste the sour anymore.
It tastes like dark chocolate and the vinegar tasted the same.
No way.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Do I need to have another?
maybe you need another one.
That sounds cool. So I am going to have another, even though it put me in pain.
Make sure you chew the seeds.
It made my whole mouth numb.
Wow.
So I think that I'm getting part of the effect, just not the good part.
Not the good part.
I'm going one more to test.
Just for science.
It's not really having like double the effect. It's sort of,
Your tongue's numb already.
yeah, I guess, yeah, that's probably why that's, oh, that's definitely part of my tongue that wasn't numb. It's very intense. I hope that worked because I'm not doing another one. Chocolate attempt number 2. It tastes,
like chocolate.
yeah,
Wow.
it's not different. Maybe slightly sweeter. I don't know.
So I'm not sure why it didn't have an effect for Matt when it did for the rest of us. As I said, it hasn't been studied, so I can't even look up the mechanism and make a guess as to why it works for some people and not others. What I do know is we tried the dried pepperberries and that was nowhere near as intense and didn't have the same taste altering effect as the fresh ones. So they could be different varieties. They don't have all those details on the packet, or it could be just it needs to be fresh to have the effect. I'm not sure. It'd be interesting if someone studies it to find it out. If you have had miracle berries before, they have been studied and they make anything that's acidic trigger the sweet taste buds on your tongue, so it makes things taste sweeter. It's a completely different experience. One, it doesn't last for long, it doesn't have any tingling effect on your tongue, and also it has no effect on bitter. It's only on sour or acidic things, so it's not the same thing that's going on with the emberries. But this one certainly is very interesting. If you can get hold of fresh pepperberries, please try it and let me know in the comments what effect it has for you. With thanks to my wonderful patrons who make these sort of videos possible. Buying all these Australian native foods and plants costs a lot of money, and I really appreciate your support. You guys are amazing. Make it a great week by being kind to others, and I'll see you on Friday.